Welcome to the Thursday evening edition of the Field of 68 After Dark here on Sirius XM Channel 84. That is the ESPNU station. We are live on YouTube. If you're watching there, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, do the things that you know are going to help us out grow this channel. Jump in the chat, ask us questions. We will be answering them during breaks. My name is Rob Dauster. We are presented by our partners over at Bet Rivers Sportsbook. We are currently broadcasting live from the Sportsbook at the Rivers Casino in Philadelphia. With me, I have Wake Forest legend, the one and only Randolph Childress, and the man they call the Rifleman, Clemson's own Terrence Oglesby. Fellas, we have a lot to get into today. 11 seed Michigan landed a comeback win. 2-12 seeds New Mexico State and Richmond picked up victories in their first round games. And 15 seed St. Peter's won in overtime, one of two overtime games that happened tonight. The other one right now, San Francisco, Murray State, a 7-10 is happening as we speak. There's 2.5 minutes left in that one right now. San Francisco is up 81-80, but we're going to start with the Peacocks, guys. St. Peter's lands an 85.
The Peacock God.
The Peacock God. I Peacock.
No, you said it right.
You said it right.
The Peacock Gods.
The Peacock Gods.
The Peacock Gods.
We're starting with the Peacock Gods. And St. Peter's, 85-79. Knocked off number 2 seed Kentucky. Knocked off my national championship pick. Producer Greg's national championship pick. Terrence Oglesby's national championship pick. I mean, how about this performance, Theo?
Rough day all around for Kentucky. And Ty Washington can go 2 for 10 on the day. And Oscar Sheboy, he did his job. He still ended up with, 30 points and 16 boards against a Peacock team that he oversized dramatically. But this was a little bit of Kentucky struggling to get going and struggling to get a win. It had a lot more to do with Shaheen Holloway and the Peacocks going and taking that win. That guy gets his guys to play with so much confidence. Daryl Banks was terrific. 27-4. They went at the Wildcats all day. Almost beat them at their own game. They ran the same set, Randolph, the entire second half, and they just kept getting buckets. It was unbelievable. There were no secrets to what they were doing. It was just guys being competitive, knocking down shots, huge shots, continuously. St. Peter's is tough. Shaheen Holloway is tough. We knew that when he was a player. Now we know it as a coach, too. Taking a job like St. Peter's that has no operating budget. Mm-hmm. And you referred to it a little bit.
Give the stat right now.
I've already University of Kentucky, I want to say, spent $18.3 million.
So Kentucky's operating budget is
their operating budget.
Million.
That's how much money.
Cal's salary is more than $8 million a year, right? He has 4 assistants on his staff that make more than $300,000 a year.
Yep.
St. Peter's operating budget is $1.6 million,
which is
less
insane.
than a tenth of Kentucky's. Their head coach makes $250K a year, which is less than the fourth highest paid assistant on the Kentucky staff. The guy that can't even go recruit.
Yep.
Makes more than St. Peter's head coach, RC. How impressive is this?
It's really impressive, but to me it's more about Kentucky. And if these teams played 100 times, Kentucky'd win 99.
No, there's no doubt.
And it just took today. But all the things that we discussed that couldn't happen, all happened. Severe Wheeler, 6 turnovers. We questioned that about his ability to turn the ball over. Grady didn't make a shot. We talked about Ty struggle. I mean, outside of Oscar Sheboy, they didn't have much going tonight, and they looked like they just panicked.
Yeah.
They just panicked. And, give it to, like I said, give it to Shaheen Holloway and his guys. I mean, they were the better team tonight. There was no doubt about it. We were waiting for kind of a Gonzaga feel, thinking like, all right, halftime, they're going to come out second half, pull away, and they just didn't. And it definitely says more about Kentucky than it does. As much as I great credit to St. Peter's. I mean, I can't give them enough credit. But that's just a game that there's not a position on the floor you can tell me that they match up with them.
No, they don't.
Another person we talked about before the game who was probably the most important guy because he's done so much for this team, this Kentucky team, Kellen Grady goes 1 for 9 from the field. Somebody who's been the defensive guy when they've needed him to be. When they go and win on the road at Kansas, he shuts down. Doesn't shut down Ochai Agbaji, but he does a really nice job on him. 1 for 9. This was a day where Kentucky couldn't have a bad game going up against a 15 seed. This has to be in the top 5 of biggest upsets of all time.
Yes.
For a couple of reasons. Not so much that the spread was huge, not so much that it was a 215. It was the fact that Kentucky, in large part by media people like us, and the general viewing audience had them as national champions. That's a huge deal.
Minimum Final Four.
Minimum Final Four. I mean,
Four.
I'm taking a lot of heat.
Yeah, you get killed right now.
The Twitter haters are out. The Twitter haters are out and abundant tonight.
Listening to Coach Cowell's interview, he's talking about I was taking guys out because they wouldn't shoot, and that's tough.
That's an issue.
That's an issue. That is I don't want the ball in those moments, and at some point you got to step up and say, hey, you know what, I got to take this shot. They were rightfully so. They were clogging the paint. They were fronting with a guy over the top, helping on Sheboy, and you just had to be ready to step up and take shots. And guys didn't want to do it. As the game got tight, the pressure got to them, and they just didn't answer the bell. And St. Peter's wasn't afraid of the moment, and it looked like Kentucky was.
Well, they were playing with nothing to lose. That's a big part, too.
They were, and I think that stems from the head coach, and that stems from the leadership that at the very top of that program. And we were able to catch up with Shaheen Hollowell earlier today. We were able to have a chance to talk with him for a couple of minutes here, and I think we're going to jump to that interview right now, if you don't mind, Producer Dagan.
Shaheen.
Now let me welcome Shaheen Hollowell, the head coach of the St. Peter's Peacocks, on the field of 68 after dark, fresh off an 85-78 win over number 2 seed Kentucky in overtime. I got to ask you, man, how you feeling right now? Biggest upset of the day.
You know what? It's still, it still didn't hit me yet. It still didn't hit me yet that we won the MAC championship. You know, it's a good ride right now, and I'm still trying to enjoy the ride, man. I don't want it to end.
So I don't think I'm alone when I say that I thought it was a bad thing when you guys ended up going to overtime, right? Normally the better team can kind of pull it out with the extra 5 minutes, but it did not seem to phase your guys. And I mean this as the utmost compliment. Your guys let their nuts hang when they play. They play with so much confidence. I'm just kind of curious, like, where does that come from? How do you instill that in your team?
You know what? Like it's funny. I recruit guys that kind of fit my personality, right? And that's what we do. I want guys to play hard. I want guys to play loose. I want guys to play the chip on their shoulder with something to prove. I've been saying it the whole weekend. A lot of guys on my team think they belong at Kentucky, right? So it was their moment. I wanted these guys to enjoy it. I told these guys, if you just worry about the task at hand, don't worry about the name on the front of the jersey, we're gonna be fine. And that's what they did.
So the story I was told is that when you were considering accepting this job, there were people that told you that it wasn't worth it, that staying in the Big East would be the smarter or the better career move long-term for you. So how rewarding is it right now to win a game like this and see the results of betting on yourself?
You know what? That's kind of what I've been doing my whole career, like my whole life, not just as a coach, as a player too, right? Like I told the story the other day when I came to New Jersey to go to St. Pat's, somebody never heard of St. Pat's.
Mm-hmm.
I left, it's a household name. Same thing with Seton Hall. I came, it was kind of down at the time. I left, it was back up. And now just as coaching, the same thing. Iona, they go there with Coach Willard, they was down, brought them back up. Seton Hall was down, we brought them back up. And now here. So just a thing of just working hard and have the right people around you that understand what it takes to, to get to a level that you want to get to. And it's just hard work.
So I want to put into perspective kind of what the St. Peter's job is, right? There was a graphic that was put out by Front Office Sports. 4 assistants on the Kentucky coaching staff make more than the head coach position at St. Peter's pays. And I'm not saying this to pocket check, but I want to put into perspective the hill that a program like yours has to climb when it comes to keeping your head above water, right? So I think stories like you guys, like St. Peter's, like you, are what makes this sport so special. So regardless of what happens on Saturday, we're going to be talking about St. Peter's, this upset, beating Kentucky for a long time. Has that sunk in yet?
No, like I said, it's still fresh, it's still new. But you know what? Like, we came down here with this mission, though. No disrespect to anybody. Like, we came down here, with confidence. Guys won 7 games in a row, and a tough MAC conference. So we came down here with the mindset that we could play with anybody. And I took these guys. We packed to Sunday. So we expect them to be here. Like I said, no disrespect to Kentucky or anybody else. Like, we just believe in ourselves and believe in what we're doing. Can't really control everything else. Like, we're not at school to have all the resources and the bells and whistles, but I got a bunch of guys that believe in themselves and play hard.
So you play again in 48 hours. How are you going to wind down, man? You going to get any sleep tonight?
Nah, we just got to watch the winner of this game and kind of try to put a scouting report together for tomorrow and try to figure it out.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate the time. Congratulations on the win. We'll be rooting for you again on Saturday night.
Thank you so much.
Shaheen Holloway is the best. It's a great story. It's one of the best stories in college basketball, and I do think that this is going to be a moment that we talk about for a long, long time, especially if they can find a way to get past whoever wins this San Francisco-Murray State game and get to the Sweet 16. I want to ask you guys a little bit bigger picture stuff.
Can I interrupt you real quick?
Go ahead.
My favorite thing about this interview.
Can I interrupt you?
Yeah,
he just does it anyway.
Yeah,
right?
I'm just going to do it anyway. It's a rhetorical question. Just let me go. So my favorite part about the interview is when you said, how come you let your you get your guys, they play with their nuts hanging. And there wasn't even a smile. There wasn't a smirk. He just knew it was so matter-of-factly. He's like, yeah, I try to get guys to play like me. It was kind of like, yeah. But that says a lot about him, right? The kind of guys that he likes to recruit, he referred to that. And tough as nails kids, so you got to give him credit.
Yeah, all right, let's talk bigger picture stuff about Kentucky. How concerned are you about where this program is and where it's heading? Because I can tell you for a fact that Kentucky fans are nervous, and they're a little bit frustrated with Coach Cal. They haven't won a tournament game since 2019. I know one of those years the tournament was canceled, and the other year was they had all their issues last season,
right,
whatever it was. But you're a 2 seed now, and you get knocked off early. They haven't been to the Final Four in a couple of years. It's been a while since Kentucky felt like Kentucky, which is why I think everyone was so excited about this team. And I think one of the issues, we saw it again. They don't have any shooting. They can't space the floor. We thought they would have it this year. Maybe if C.J. Frederick was there, it would change things. But there were too many times where you would have Ty Washington come around the corner and dribble into 5 guys in the middle of the paint. So where do you stand on Coach Cal on this program on Kentucky? RC, I'm going to you first on this one because it very, very clearly, as T.O. was looking at you, he's like, I don't want to answer this question.
I know the Kentucky fans they're losing their minds, right? And they're going to complain about it. But Cal is one of the best in the business, and to think anything different than that is just insane. I mean, it's what happens now. I mean, with the super seniors and everything else was going on, we went into this talking about there was going to be as many upsets. We didn't know what they would be, but we knew they'd be quite a bit upsets. And we're just surprised that it's this team. We thought this team had enough to be a Final Four national champion caliber team, and they didn't come out ready to play tonight, and they panicked. And you know, this isn't the norm for a Kentucky team. I mean, last year was different.
How much of that goes to the coach, though? When you say they didn't come out ready to play,
mm-hmm,
right? Isn't that one of your number one jobs as a coach, to get your guys ready to be in a position where they're going to actually show up and can actually show out?
Go ahead.
Yeah, part of it's on Cal.
It is.
Like, look, it's a very give and take relationship. Like, players need to show up ready to play, and obviously Kentucky's guys didn't. Now, if I'm a Kentucky fan looking forward, this has been a bit of an adjustment period for Cal because he really got things going whenever he started the one-and-done thing with Derrick Rose and all those guys. I mean, he had good years prior to that at UMass. He had good years doing different things and getting all these uber-talented players. Now the transfer portal's become such a big thing. So the SEC, he's having to play against all these older players and all these older teams, and it's given his freshman teams trouble. You saw that in the years prior to this year. Now, this is not a failure of a season. They ended up getting a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. I don't consider this a failed season. I do consider this a failed NCAA tournament, but it's a Kentucky team that all year long lived up to expectations except for one day, and that's what makes this tournament so great. This is a Kentucky team that could have easily made it to the Final Four. They just ran into the wrong team on the wrong night. St. Peter's got it done. How you adjust from this, it all comes back with him. It all comes back with what kind of players are you getting in, how are you going to attack the portal, which has been an adjustment for him this year. This is not a simple thing for Coach Cal to bring in a bunch of older guys. It took a couple of months for them to figure this out to begin with.
Yeah, and it did, but I would just push back on the idea that this loss was just because they ran into the wrong team on the wrong day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's St. Peter's. We just talked about the difference in budget. Like that, if you're Kentucky, it should not be acceptable to lose games. And I love the story of St. Peter's. It should not be acceptable that you can lose a game to a program like St. Peter's. There's a reason why Kentucky has all of that money and all of that funding and all of that stuff coming in.
Yep.
It's to be able to say that we don't have to stress about playing a team like St. Peter's.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that's interesting when we talk about Coach Cal is it seems that he decided to have a philosophical change in his recruiting, where we went from a ton of the one-and-dones and they seem to be heavy in the portal, whereas that's not the case with like a Duke. Right, Duke has continued to go with the high school kids, the young kids, and stick to that route. So there's been a transition with Coach Cal in that, and
they pepper him like maybe one or two players.
Yeah,
Not
they'll
like
sprinkle
the
it.
entire
Yeah,
roster. Like that's a significant difference between the two.
yeah, and I think that's a big part of it. But when you have so many transfers that are a significant part of it, it does take that's different because now he's going to have to redo that again, and then now that takes a commitment and a cohesion that comes with every year. So every year now, that seems to be what he's going to have to do because once you start going in the transfer portal, you have to continue to do that. And I don't think this, so that seems to be what's going on. If he does that changes now. Does that because they're no longer getting those guys.
Yep. And whenever you get in the portal, you're not getting these great players. You're getting very, very good college players. That's the big difference. Like those freshmen that are coming in, the freshmen that are at Duke, for example, and they could get beat tomorrow. Who knows? But what I'm saying is the elite talent wasn't necessarily on that roster besides Sheboy and Ty Washington. They're usually filled to the brim with studs, like 6 or 7 of them.
Yeah.
Right.
That wasn't the case this season.
And even Sheboy, I would make the argument that he is a guy that is just the best role player in college. But like you're not out there giving him the rock and saying, hey, go figure this out yourself, right? That was what Ty's job was supposed to be. And Ty was not himself tonight. I don't know if it was an ankle thing.
He had a lot going on. His mom was in the crowd. He's wanted to play well. There's a lot of pressure there. I get it.
Yeah, but you still
got to show up.
You still got to show up. You still got to be better. But it is the kind of thing where they didn't have any difference makers. All right, so Murray State in USF has gone final. It's 91-87 in overtime. And 91-87 overtime win for Murray State. They advance. Murray State will be playing St. Peter's for the right to go to the Sweet 16. Which is that's awesome. That's awesome. I love that. That's what we just what we ended up with here. But listen, we gotta pay the bills here really quick. Coming up next, we have to talk about this Iowa loss. RC Randolph Childress gets to talk his shit a little bit, rub it into our very own producer Carter Elliott's face the way this game played out. So we'll be back with that next. All right, jump in the chat, guys. Ask us some questions. We're going to be here for about 90 seconds.
Yeah, I got a few questions for you guys. And I have a surprise for some people in the chat that haven't seen it yet. Our new producer, Cam. There we are.
There you
can
go.
see the
Everybody.
back of Carter Elliott's head. Look at that.
That's it.
Oh.
There you go. People are talking about Calipari getting fired. Is that fair?
Come on.
Is he getting paid
He ain't
$8 million
getting
a year? Well, if Calipari's getting paid $8 million a year, what's the buyout of that contract?
Didn't he have a lifetime contract too?
Yeah, it's
They're
a
not-
lifetime. You're not firing Calipari.
They need to
You
light
made
a
your
fire
bed.
under, they need to light a fire under his ass, but they're not going to fire him.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do? He just revamped his staff. Like all those guys are new. What are you gonna fire him again? Like,
Yeah,
what are you gonna
I
do? Keep rotating assistants?
No.
Like that's the entire system.
They need
is
to
new.
they need to figure out something different to do offensively.
That
there needs to be a
that's
little
the,
bit
look,
more.
the biggest thing. That's the single biggest thing.
Yeah.
The single biggest thing is that they need to be able to run offense and get floor spacing and be able to do things a little bit more modern. And we thought it was going to be this year, and you know what? It wasn't, because you don't have to guard Severe Wheeler, you didn't have to guard Keon Brooks, you didn't have to guard Oscar Sheboy.
How many of these programs actually do that? When you talk about the Dukes, doesn't run anything overly complicated because they feel like I got better players than you, and I just roll the ball out there and we're gonna play.
And you know what the difference is? Duke has 5 first-round picks on their roster this year.
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
Good enough to get whipped by Virginia Tech.
Yeah. And look, there might be a reason that Coach K is calling it. So
True.
Yeah.
Dagan's raising his hand. We are back. It is the Field of 68 After Dark. We are live at Bet Rivers Sportsbook at the Rivers Casino in Philadelphia. My name is Rob Dauster. I am joined by the Rifleman Terrence Oglesby and the legend Randolph Childress. We're talking about this wild Thursday in college basketball, guys. We had 8 games that were decided by single digits. We had 6 games where the lower seeded team won. We had 3 games that went to overtime. There were 4 double-digit seeds that won, 1 11 seed, 2 12 seeds, and 1 15 seed. I want to start with the 12 seeds here. We're going to go into Iowa first. That was a team that a lot of people had pegged as potentially being a Final Four threat, as being a team that could get to a national title game, Greg Waddell.
And one person in here.
One person in here specifically went all in on them. I'm pretty sure he told
Producer
all
Cam.
his friends and family to ride with them. I'm pretty sure that Greg over here, he's not happy about it. Greg's happy today. The good news is Greg Waddell hit a couple of very nice live money line bets. So
what did I tell you after our first intermission
did
today?
well.
It was about a regroup. It was about the second half, and that's what we did.
yeah,
You
touche, Gregory, touche. But let's talk about it. You know, this is the second straight year where an Iowa team came into the NCAA tournament with hype and people talking about them, having a first-team All-American. Last year it was Luka Garza. This year it was Keegan Murray and RC. They're bounced again in the first round of the tournament. Well, last year was the first weekend of the tournament, but they're bounced again by a lower-seeded team.
But, even today, the reason I said, we joking about it, but I said Richmond because I knew this was a tough matchup for a team. As soon as we saw the brackets come out, I said, Richmond Spiders could get Iowa because the one thing that they struggle with is guarding. Mm-hmm. And I felt like they would scheme them also. I thought they would – let's count. You don't even start counting Keegan Murray's points till he gets to 20. Like, we know he's going to get that. And we joked about it, but I said, hey, I think they're going to play him one-on-one and help a little bit. And then they're going to scheme the other guys, and they're just going to try to let him go one-on-one. And then if he gets his 20 or 30, so be getting shut down the other guys. And I thought that's what they did. Like, I didn't think they guarded Perkins. They just sat in the lane and helped out, let him – they didn't chase him around screens. If he was to shoot, they just lived with it. And the other thing –
he was like a pip. Like,
yeah.
He was like a running back.
Yeah.
Today. He was just putting his head down, trying to get somewhere. He thought he was bigger and stronger, and Richmond just knew how to play because they were old.
Well, and they just – when you're scheming guys, you just back off. It hurts your pride a little bit. It's like, hey, if I play off you 10 feet and dare you to shoot, then you feel like, all right, you take shots, you start missing, then you want to get in the paint and make
What does
stuff
that feel
happen.
like, Carter, when people back off of you 10 feet? What's it?
Yeah, they didn't guard my guy like that. Don't let them do you like that, Carter. Don't let them do you like that. So, but no, and again, the other thing is that if you're not accustomed to playing against Princeton offense, it's different. It requires a ton of discipline, and
it requires discipline for 30 seconds.
Yeah,
no, it does. But and if you're not used to
that's
that,
the
so
big
it's a
part,
team
yeah.
that what we talked about.
But
It's like
here's my thing. The issue in this game wasn't playing against the Princeton. They gave up 67 points. I thought they did what they needed to do defensively. The issue was they couldn't score. They couldn't get the ball to Keegan Murray when Richmond was making their run. They couldn't find ways to get Jordan Bohannon open. I don't know if they froze up or what it was, but I was a little bit disappointed with the performance from Iowa. Look, if you have that much talent, you are that good offensively, you got to win games. Like, that's what matters.
Well, anytime that Iowa tried to get on a run because Richmond runs their Princeton stuff, Jacob Gilliard would walk the ball up the floor.
Yeah,
and then they would completely control the pace. Anytime there was any sort of run that kind of seemed to be gaining steam or something of that nature, like they would walk it up, they'd run 30 seconds of clock. Having Golden out there, I'm telling you guys, like, he's a difference maker, not only for this game, but moving forward. That guy's really good, and he's so valuable because having him out on the perimeter and then being able to defend on the other side, on the other side of the floor at 6'10", 255, like, this team is old, they're smart, they know how to play. And it seemed like Keegan Murray went missing for about 7 minutes, or was it 6 or 7 minutes in the second half where he didn't score. Now, he turned it on in the last three and a half minutes or what have you. But they needed him to break up the monotony of not scoring. And I thought some of their guys, like Perkins, for example, were just putting his head down and trying to get to the basket. And at the same time, they couldn't get any rhythm because of that. They'd come down, Perkins would do something quick, turn it over, and then they'd go back and have to guard for 30 seconds again. It was impossible to get any kind of rhythm if you were Iowa.
The thing that we talked about with Keegan's game, though, is that he's not the type of guy you just give the ball to and get a bucket. So he needs to be within the flow of the offense. And so he was thinking, hey, he tried to go inside and post up. Well, it's easier to take away a guy in the post. And then you get him on a pick and pop jump shots playing off that. But this is a smaller group of guys, so that wasn't an advantage as well. So, where did he get his points? When they were leaving Perkins and scheming guys saying, all right, he gets the ball, there was always extra hands. He had like 6 hands, we always say 6 set of hands, 3 sets of hands. Every time he touched the ball, they're digging, they're faking at him, they're stunting at him. He didn't have the space. I thought he performed well. Again, he didn't have anyone else, and we talked about it. I thought it was let him score and scheme everybody else. And if they beat us, we're not gonna win if everybody else is hitting shots anyway. We know he's gonna score. Let's focus on everyone else. I thought that's what they did. Their guys to make shots, focused on everyone else. Bohannon didn't get anything, and just guarded the other guys and said, hey, unless he goes for 50, I like our chances. And they did a pretty good job today.
So from 1-5 seed that got upset by a lower seeded team in the first weekend 2 years in a row to another one, UConn, lost to New Mexico State.
How you
Go ahead, T.O. Go ahead.
How you feel right now?
Taking a 27. Oh, look. Oh, this mic shut off. Oh,
Hey, baby, I'm going to the bullpen, baby. Let's go. I got bring my lefty out.
I mean,
For Rob, get my lefty on the bullpen.
Hey, no,
He's done. He's tapping out.
hey, look. In all seriousness, though, Teddy Buckets was Teddy Buckets today.
Teddy Buckets is a dude.
Teddy Buckets had 37 at his fourth school because he was kicked out of his previous three. I just felt like I should throw that one in there.
Oh, the salt. The salt.
Little salty. But when a guy has a night like that, there's only so much you can do, right? There's only so much you can do. And to his credit, look, he hit 8 straight free throws.
He did it over what was perceived to be a really good defensive team.
Perceived
To be a really good defensive
very
team,
important.
so, yeah.
They shot 11 for 17 from 3. Teddy Buckets hit 3 ridiculous ones down the stretch.
Sure did.
At some point, like I have my issues about what UConn did offensively, and we can get to that if you want. But at the end of the day, I think you just chalk this one up to, okay, Teddy had a day, and there's only so much you could do. So, because some of those shots that he hit, I don't know how you could have defended them all that much better.
And I thought UConn was going to win this game, and one of the reasons was strength versus strength. I thought UConn would be able to handle it. New Mexico State out-rebounded them by 26-25. I mean, that is a tough-as-nails group. When you have a go-to scorer, and I feel like I've said it all year, you need a guy who can create something when there's nothing left on the shot clock. When you have to throw the ball to somebody, you have to create in isolation situations. But Teddy Buckets just absolutely showed out. Ends up for 37 in the NCAA tournament game over UConn, over length, over strength. Like, they had guys that could match up from a physical perspective. It didn't matter. He just did whatever he needed to do, whatever he wanted to do. 13-13 from the foul line. He was the only guy for New Mexico State to take a free throw. And that's how physical he played with the ball in his hands. It was impressive.
I think he was the only guy that took a shot for New Mexico State.
Yeah, for the last
5 minutes of that
yeah.
game. The last 15 minutes for the entire game.
They were looking
Teddy
for him.
Buckets, man.
They were looking for him.
Hey, in all seriousness, though, when a guy like that is cooking like that, you got to give him the rock. We got 2 shooters here. We got 2 scorers here. When you're in that kind of rhythm, what do you want?
Give me the.
And your teammates know.
Yeah, that's a big
They
thing.
want you to have the ball.
When RC was there, his teammates knew because he would tell them
Yeah, you got to.
forcefully, give me that shit.
Give me the damn
right?
ball.
Can I say my piece on UConn now?
No, hold on. Let me ask you this. What if we talked about him all year long, and people would get on me and be like, what is Childress talking about? They got 3 guys averaging in double figures. And I always said to you, who was going to be the third guy when it mattered? I said this the day before the game. Mm-hmm. Who is going to show up? I know R.J. Cole is going to show up. Who is going to show up outside of that? That's been my argument with them all year long. In close games, they get predictable because he looks like the only guy that wants the ball.
Yeah, that's that
Tyrese
right
Martin
there.
wasn't wanting that thing.
Well, that's the biggest issue with this UConn team is that when you get them into a half-court setting, they are easy to scheme against because everybody knows what they're going to do. It's not a secret. Mm-hmm. The secret's out. Everyone knows what they want to do offensively. They're going to run a bunch of false motion and either try to get RJ coming off a curl to his left, get him in the ball screen, or try to find a duck in for Adama Sanogo.
Yep.
That's what they want to do. Everybody knows what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And if you can't get to those specific actions, then they can't do anything offensively. And I think part of that is just kind of what this roster is, right?
Tyrese Martin showed what he is today.
Yeah.
He's been really good at points. He's been wildly inconsistent at other points. It's been a pretty big issue.
Yeah, so I mean that's what they are. This is the team that Danny Hurley has built. This is the roster that they have going right now. And I do think that to a point, some of that is just a product of what they have at their disposal. But at the same time, you're 4 years into this. This is your program. This is your team. This is what you have built. So I go back and forth on it. I know what UConn was when he got there. They were 15 and 16 in the AAC. They finished in second to last place in the AAC. They were worse than like Tulsa. and East Carolina in the AAC, a league that is so bad that we're like, yeah, you know what? All those wins that Memphis had, they don't count because that's a mid-major conference. And now they're back to a point where it's like I get pissed when they lose an NCAA tournament game as a 5 seed. You know what I mean? Like it's nice to have a level of expectation where you're disappointed.
I think he's doing a good job.
But you also got to win some games in March at some point, right? Like, there are UConn fans that are fired up that are saying that you need to fire this guy. You need to get new coaching. No, come on. Like that's insane. But you got to start winning some games in March, Danny. Come on, get it done. You can't leave me here like this.
You're taking a toll on Rob's mental health.
Question.
My mental health, my physical health, my heart. I'm dying over here.
What would a healthy Jordan Hawkins would have done for this team consistently all year long?
He ain't ready. He's a year away.
I think he'll be ready after a summer on the weights.
Yes, he needs a summer in the weight room. He needs a summer eating sandwiches every day.
And
He needs to get
pizza.
put on that Carter Elliott diet, right? He needs to work on his handle. He needs to do 2-ball dribbling drills every single day. Like get him a Ben and Jerry's ice cream. Get him a
some mediocre pizza. You have plenty of that there in Connecticut. You're going to be ready
pizza,
to go.
Get him ice cream. Get him some kind of sugary drink. Like put some weight on this dude and make him do 2-ball dribbling drills every single day and make him get on the bench press. And this kid's going to be a stud next year. But he weighs like 155 pounds. Got no confidence in his ability to put the ball on the floor. And if he's not catching and shooting, he's kind of limited.
They were a
he'll be a first round pick.
They were a stud wing scorer away from being Sweet 16 good this year.
They would have been they would have been able to win this game and have a chance to get to Gonzaga in the Sweet 16 if Jordan Hawkins was sophomore year Jordan Hawkins as a freshman.
Agreed.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
They
They were a big time wing scorer away.
Yep.
I mean, Book Knight could qualify as probably that if he stays another year.
Yeah,
like
we don't need
different, but
you're breaking my heart all over again. But
Yeah.
listen, we gotta get to break here. When we come back, we're gonna do a little bit of a rip around.
Mm-hmm.
We got to talk about Murray State. We got to talk about Memphis. We got to talk about Creighton, who had a great come from behind win. Shout out to Greg Waddell, who hit the money line on that one.
Mm-hmm.
We got to talk about Tennessee, and we had to talk about St. Mary's absolutely punking Randolph Childress' Indiana Hoosiers. We're gonna get into all of that coming up next. All right. Let's
What's in the
anyone
chat, baby?
jump in the chat, ask us some questions. We are here. We are live. We are breaking things down for you. I'm getting crushed. UConn is getting crushed in the chat right now.
guys are not firing Hurley.
Come on, man.
They're not firing
Come on.
Hurley.
I will walk off the set.
No,
will walk
stop
off
this
this
nonsense.
set.
They're not firing Hurley. That's a ridiculous assumption.
that is
25,
ridiculous.
23 and 10 in an NCAA tournament bid when you were in America. Yes,
Stop it.
You shut your mouth.
Yeah. Hush.
You shut your mouth when you're
You
talking
shut
to me.
your mouth.
Oh,
And we
man.
got some talk in the chat about Providence, and
Ooh.
are they still lucky? They're not going to play the 4 seed.
Yeah,
Iowa
yeah,
next.
yeah. Very, very lucky.
Oh, my
look at the
gosh.
draw. Look at the draw. Right.
Stop it.
St. Patrick's Day.
They earned
The
that
best
one,
3-point shooting team in the country could not hit a 3 today on St. Patrick's Day.
I
The
chalked that
Friars.
up to defense.
Yeah. Friars.
That was pretty
No,
good
That
defense.
was, I thought
No,
that
they're
was pretty
awesome.
good
I think
defense.
all of
They
us
are so
agreed.
good.
Hey, look, my prediction was wrong because I said they were going to win by double digits. They only won by 9. Yeah, they're good.
Tomato.
They're good. I think
they're
that matchup-
just a little
We
off.
talked about it earlier. They match up really well with Richmond too. They're gonna get to the Sweet 16. First one in program history.
This is Spider-Man meme. They're the same team, so Providence is better, in my opinion. They're just better at most of the positions. Not all of them, because I think Gilliard's a stud, but they're just a better team. They play just as well together. They're all old. It's going to be the game of the 24-year-olds, which you don't see a whole lot of.
Field of 68 After Dark is now live. We are back. We are at the Rivers Casino Sportsbook in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We are presented by our partners over at Bet Rivers Sportsbook. My name is Rob Dauster. I have Terrence Oglesby and Randolph Childress here with me, breaking down a wild Thursday in college basketball. We got to talk about some of these games that happened today, guys. Let's start with Memphis, because I think all of us said heading into the tournament, Memphis was a team that could give Gonzaga some problems.
Yep.
They are now going to have a shot to give Gonzaga some problems. Tio, how do you feel about this Memphis team, and what do you think their ceiling is at this point? Can they pull off this upset?
I think it's possible that they pull off the upset, but the only problem is I don't know that they score at Gonzaga's level. That's the big thing. You know that Memphis's defense is going to be there. Whether or not they can score has been the biggest issue. And Alex Lomax, guys, who has been playing much better as of late, seriously sprained his ankle. I mean, he toughed it through, made some big plays, especially down the stretch, but this Memphis team has struggled to score. And when you're playing against Gonzaga, you better be able to score 80, because I'm not sure that you're going to be able to hold them much lower than 75, if that's at all possible.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to shoot it better, from the outside. I mean, we had Armani Bates sighting tonight. He only played 3 minutes, got in and knocked down a three. Yeah.
Knocked one down?
He did. He came in and knocked down a three.
Talked to everybody in there. He was ready.
Should go. Happy for him. He didn't get back out there. Missing quite a bit of time for someone as talented as he is. They'll need something like that, like a effort from him, kind of showing his skill set, to get past Gonzaga. I think like we talked about, Gonzaga just scores at a level that I don't see Memphis doing it unless someone just plays a great game offensively and shoots the ball, something like we hadn't seen on a consistent basis.
And Jalen Duren is going to have to stay on the floor.
Yeah,
For the love of God, you have to stay on the floor when playing Drew Timme. If you're that big, that strong, that athletic, his wingspan is insane. I don't know if you saw Jalen Duren this past summer in person. I know
he's a monster.
He is a huge human being. He needs to stay on his floor, just play straight up, make Drew Timme score over the top. He's going to score a few, but you cannot afford to get in foul trouble, because after that it's going to be really, really difficult to keep up with him.
Yeah, you know what I'm worried about here in this matchup? I'm worried about Chet Holmgren's ability to erase everything in the paint. He was awesome tonight. All right, awesome. The stuff that he does well. Yeah, I mean, I think he finished with 19, 15 boards, 7 blocks, a couple assists. But the stuff that he does best is just his ability to take away everything within 8 feet of the rim. Mm-hmm. And so much of what Memphis does comes within 8 feet of the rim. So the big thing is going to be, can you take advantage of the fact that he is so slender, right? Jalen Duren, you got to use that leverage, man. You're going to be able to – you could put him through the basket stanchion if you want.
Yeah, and your matchup's going to be DeAndre Williams, who's been playing well. You got to attack Chet's chest and make his arms come down, and then you hope to get him in foul trouble. But he just does such a good job of
easier said than done.
Yeah, much easier said than done, because he's got those tarantula arms that just go everywhere, and he just manages not to touch guys and not get called for fouls. I mean, the only thing is whenever he falls on the ground, it scares me to death.
Yeah,
Chet Holmgren. It's like
he looks so breakable.
He's like a baby giraffe.
Baby giraffe.
A baby giraffe who's struggling to run. That's what he seems like to me.
Please, the other guy that stepped up for those guys who's flashing a lot for them is Anton Watson. Mm-hmm. For Gonzaga. Just when we talked about the versatility of having, they got another guy to throw in that rotation, that if one of those guys was struggling or foul trouble, is why we're so high on Gonzaga. That when someone's struggling, they just have multiple parts or interchangeable parts that allows them tonight. And Chet was just amazing tonight, 19 and 17. He had 17 rebounds tonight.
Yep. And keep in mind, who they played today wasn't necessarily the hardest matchup. Right, so they're coming in a little bit more fresh. They won by 21.
Right.
Now the first 30 minutes.
Hey,
Rob Lanier, my guy, you did a terrific job. You guys busted it. But there comes a time when Gonzaga, you just wait for it to happen, and they're just going to take off on a 20-0 run because of their offensive ability. But kudos.
We just had a question in the chat. 200 likes for a Dauster shotgun. I do not have any beers that are shotgunnable right now, but there is a bar right over there. I will make Carter Elliott go buy me a beer, and I will chug it on camera if we can get to 200 likes. I tell you that much. All right, so let me ask you guys another number 8 seed that we all agree has a chance to pull off an upset over a number 1 tomorrow. That would be the North Carolina Tar Heels.
Oh man, were they good?
We don't agree. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hold on. You don't think North Carolina can beat Baylor?
No.
The North Carolina we just saw put a 30-piece on Marquette, who you said had a chance to beat Baylor. You did. Don't make me rewind the tape.
I did. I'm not going for Carolina. I'm sorry.
You saw that moment when he was like, shit.
Yeah, he got my diss. It's like I forgot we're being recorded. No, I mean, North Carolina is a scary team in that aspect. They are, and it's hard to not acknowledge what they did today. They played a hell of a game. We didn't see that. That was a beatdown today. 32 points. That was just a beatdown today, and they just were a tougher team today. I was surprised to say it. I mean, I didn't
That's
think
not
they
something
would be.
that we expect.
No,
from North Carolina team at
we
all.
don't expect that from Carolina at all. They were the tougher team tonight. They were the better team, and we'll see what happens. But I'm not ready to go and say they're going to be the number 1 seed
Why?
yet.
Why? Real quick, in 1 minute, tell me why.
Because I don't like them. I'm just going to.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Express your
Just for the
hatred.
people-
Don't
since-
hide it.
And,
For the
Just
people that
bring
are
it to the
watching on
people.
YouTube
It's
right
just
now, I just
Carolina.
want you to know,
You know?
T.O. for the whole day had on a baby blue polo, right? You can see it right there.
Randolph wouldn't
as
even
soon
look
as
at
he has
me.
to start talking about
No.
North Carolina winning by 32, the jacket comes on.
Yeah, and you see me today. I'm swiping because I'm itching. I'm breaking out in hives because this Carolina blue shirt is near me, and it's just something about it.
Roy let me actually borrow this jacket. This is Roy's jacket. No, I thought that North Carolina had the Scott Farkas syndrome all year, where Scott
Oh,
Farkas.
boy. Here we go
Christmas-
again.
He's in A Christmas Story, and he always fights the kid that doesn't fight back, and as soon as he gets punched in the mouth, you never see him for the rest of the movie. I thought that was Carolina, but Marquette was the team that physically would push you and shove you. And then they showed today that, hey, we're going to be the tougher team. We can still have an explosive offensive night. How good was Brady Manick? Ended up with 28 and 11.
Yeah.
He's a dude. Like, you got to be thrilled that he comes for 1 year and then turns around and my man is back here. I don't know what's going on back there, but he's looking for the bar tab.
I think he's the bartender.
But you got to be sad that you don't get him for more than 1 year. But what an addition he's been, because he has been absolutely terrific for them all year, even when they've been down, when their guards haven't been able to figure it out. Brady Manick has continued to pick them up. And this next game, I'm telling you, Baylor with inconsistent, not inconsistent guard play, but inconsistent minutes, meaning like they haven't been able to play with a lot of consistency moving forward because they've been dealing with injuries. Jim Wachachu has been out. Carolina is peaking at the right time. This is a Carolina team that could go and win this second game.
Yeah, they're playing with confidence, too. That's a big thing. RC, let me ask you this question. St. Mary's beat Indiana by roughly 100, right?
They did.
Tennessee beat, who was it? They beat Longwood.
Longwood.
They beat Longwood.
How dare you?
I forgot, man. It's been a long day. That game might as well have happened in February.
Yeah.
That's a
all
good
point.
point,
It
yeah.
feels like that was that long ago. Tennessee beat Longwood by roughly.
We've been inhaling casino oxygen for the past 14 hours.
15 hours.
Yeah.
So, who were you more impressed by, Tennessee or St. Mary's?
I would say St. Mary's. I thought Tennessee did what they had to do. We didn't expect that to be a close game. They were just far better than Longwood, and we knew that coming in. I actually thought Indiana had a chance, and that was a beatdown.
Well, fatigue set in too. They
True,
just
I
had
thought it
big
was a
game
brutal
couple
thing.
days
We talked
ago.
about that when I found out today. It was kind of like, where's that game? And it's out west, and we talked about that.
Yeah, they
And-
had their travel issues. For
yeah.
people that don't know, listening at
Yeah.
home, Indiana did not leave Dayton after the playing game until about 3 a.m. They had issues.
That
with
should
their-
never happen.
No.
It was a plane issue. Their traveling party was too big for the plane that they had,
Okay.
essentially.
Then-
And
In that situation, then why don't you just wait and say, hey, we're going to leave at 8 or 9 o'clock or whatever it is the next day? Like leaving at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning is just brutal. I mean, that's just a beat.
That's
You
been-
can't
that's been
recover
the
from
issue. That's been the issue with that playing game for the longest, though. That scheduling has to be on point. How are these things not figured out by whoever the logistics people are going at? I remember a few years ago, there's been different schools. Clemson had a problem whenever they won their first playing game 10 years ago, or some had to play the first game the next few days. Like the logistics issues of these first four are interesting.
Well, hopefully they can make an adjustment and just say, hey, when we do all this selection Sunday, the first thing you should do is just get those teams out and get them to, get them to Dayton a lot quicker, and in that way, or get the first four in established quicker.
Or you know what we could do? We could start the first 4 games at 5:40 instead of 6:40, so that second game starts at 8:10 instead of 9:10, and then hopefully you're getting guys out at midnight, 1 a.m. instead of 1 a.m., 2 a.m. And no delays. Make sure you got a plane that can fit everybody in that traveling
Yeah, that's
party.
ridiculous.
I do want to give some credit, though, to St. Mary's, because that was just an absolute evisceration. We can make all the excuses that we want for this Indiana team, but the reason why they eventually folded is because they just got paper cut to death. That's what St. Mary's does to you. They are so good at executing what they want to do. They are so disciplined in their pace and in running their stuff and in making sure they don't make mistakes. They don't let you beat them. They are great when it comes to kind of taking away what you do best. Like they're always one of the best teams in the country at defensive assist rate, meaning they make you beat them one-on-one. They don't let you create for others. They make you beat them one-on-one. And honestly, we probably should have seen this one coming as we look back in hindsight.
Well, with the 3 o'clock in the morning, that's so brutal, especially after a game. Like, you're trying to recover. Like, that's a much bigger issue. I think people realize. And just side note, Trace Jackson Davis was not Sean Kemp tonight, and I called that earlier.
He was John Kemp.
Yeah, Steve Kemp.
Steve Kemp.
Yeah. I was gonna mention that, but
No, you could.
I'll throw it on. I'll throw it on myself.
I
There's
wasn't
no
gonna do
big
that to
deal.
my guy.
Yeah. All right. Listen, we gotta pay the bills here really quick. When we come back, we're gonna give out our awards for the day. Biggest moment, best players, biggest winners, and our biggest loser, Terrence Oglesby. All right, that was a good one. I forgot to go to Jan's when we were. Yeah, that was the thing. You want to?
That's okay.
We could. Yeah.
We can do it. We'll
We
post
can-
it on Twitter.
We can post it on Twitter. We
How
can
about
do
that?
it tomorrow.
We'll do it tomorrow morning.
Things
We'll
just
do it
kept
tomorrow on
building up.
Twitter.
Just kept building up. We got any questions in the chat that people
Yes,
are
we
coming
do.
in? We're at
How
150 likes.
We are.
Uh-oh. Somebody get
We
that
are.
beer ready.
How many? Here we go. Ron wants to know how many Big Ten teams lose tomorrow.
How many are playing?
I don't know. I haven't even looked at the schedule.
Illinois, Chattanooga.
Chattanooga wins that game.
Upset City, Michigan State Davis. Upset City, Purdue, Yale.
1 minute, by the way.
Purdue will win.
Ohio State's losing.
So one big team winning.
Purdue's gonna win. Purdue's gonna win.
Purdue's gonna win and Iowa State's gonna win.
Illinois is losing.
Who's Iowa State play?
Iowa State's not in
LSU.
the Big Ten, coach. Two. Wisconsin and Purdue are gonna win. Everyone else is gonna lose.
They're in the Big
Foster
12.
Lawyer finally gets his revenge.
Should have been starting the whole time. Point guard play.
Point
I
guard
meant
play.
Ohio State. I'm sorry, but Ohio State's gonna.
RC's tired. Don't blame him, Chad.
They're gonna beat Loyola Chicago.
We're gassed over here. Watching basketball.
Are you sure?
Watching basketball.
Are
is
you
a
sure?
difficult
Loyola
job.
Chicago's good.
And Ohio State will beat them tomorrow.
You think?
I do. Putting my money on that one.
Oh,
Here's one. Oh, never mind. Hold on. I'll save it.
What?
We have 10 seconds.
Oh,
10 seconds.
Sorry.
We are back. It is the Field of 68 after dark. We are live. Sirius XM channel 84. That is the ESPNU station. We're streaming over on YouTube. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Jump in the chat. Ask us questions. We'll have a brief afters since we always do our afters. My name is Rob Dauster. I have Terrence Oglesby. I have Randolph Childress here with me. We're going to get into some of our awards for the day, guys. I want to start with this. RC, I'm going to you first on this one. The biggest surprise of the day. I think we know what the answer is here.
I mean, it's surprise. I'm gonna go a little different. Is this gonna go into what we talking about our winners for today?
Biggest surprise.
Biggest surprise?
Biggest surprise.
I mean, you got to go with St. Peter's. I mean, I mean, that's a top 3 or 4 upset of all time. I mean, how can we go anything different?
Yeah,
than that?
Greg, do you have the stats on that?
I sure do. That was the 4th largest betting spread upset in the history of the NCAA tournament. First, Norfolk State plus 21.5 against Missouri in 2012, Kyle O'Quinn. The second, UMBC plus 20.5 against Virginia. The third, Santa Clara plus 20, Steve Nash, 1993.
Ooh,
This
deep
was
dive.
the
I
4th
like it.
largest.
I like it.
I never would have got that one.
Never got
I would have
that
gotten the other two. I never would have got that one. Never would have got that one. You, biggest surprise?
There's no way you can go anywhere else but Kentucky.
Right.
I think a big surprise is Indiana getting beat by 30, but regardless, guys, I mean, it's Kentucky. For the sheer fact that everybody had them in the Final Four.
Yeah.
And we were talking about earlier today, like, what was the easiest path
easiest
to the
bracket.
Final? Yeah, the easiest bracket to the Final Four was
Yeah.
Kentucky, and they stubbed their foot against
Well,
St.
hey,
Peter's.
look, we weren't wrong. The easiest region to be in is the East because now the best team in that
But you-
region ain't there
but-
anymore.
But you're sitting there looking like, if I'm Virginia Tech, my eyes are wide open. If I'm Purdue, my eyes are wide open. Like those teams in that portion of the bracket, I'm not saying it's easy sledding, but it's very possible that a lot of different teams can do it.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with St. Mary's as my biggest surprise.
My mate's on TV.
Yeah, I'm going to go to St. Mary's as my biggest surprise. And I did not see them winning by 30 points. I did not see them having that kind of performance. All right, let's go to the most memorable moment. RC.
My most memorable moment was sitting out watching the game and watching you, Rob, your reaction to
come
this.
on,
watching your reaction to UConn Huskies, man. I was fearful, man. I was gonna catch an elbow or something, man, out of reaction.
I thought I was going to get knocked out.
I thought you was gonna get knocked out too. I was worried about you. So, that was my biggest takeaway from the day, man. I was really. I almost felt bad for you today, man. We got a lot of love. We were ready to take the blows, man. We were a little worried. So my most memorable moment today was my guy Rob here. I was a little worried about him today. He came back around. I thought we were gonna have to call somebody to sub out today.
I was close. I was down bad for a minute. Then I realized Kentucky lost too, so I wasn't going to be the worst one of the day. Got to give it to someone else, man. Go ahead.
Most memorable moment to me, kind of moments, plural, but the number 1 seeds really struggling for the first 30 minutes of their games. I mean, Gonzaga, Georgia State had a 2 to 4 point lead, depending on when you were looking at the game, midway through the second half. That was huge. Baylor, they were the only one that really didn't struggle with their game. But like we've talked about, this season, when it comes to having that extra year of eligibility, there's so many more players, and it's a sprinkle down effect. And what's happened is a lot of these guys that were transferring from high majors to mids and mids to low, like these guys are having big time effects, and you're seeing it as better teams at the bottom, at the lower echelons of college basketball. Those teams are better too. It's not just the top, and I think that's one big thing that I realized for today.
I don't think that there was, outside of St. Peter's, I don't know if there was a single standalone super memorable moment from today. Like there wasn't that buzzer beater. There wasn't that great shot, that great moment, that great kind of
signature performance type of deal.
All right, so your biggest winner.
I'll let you go ahead. We've been going this way.
Okay. My biggest winner is Mooney, Chris Mooney with Richmond. You're talking about going into the A-10 tournament. They had billboards out calling for his job.
Yeah.
Right? They were calling for his job, and not only to respond the way he responded, they make a run, get into the tournament, and then to pull out an upset today on a team that a lot of people had as a Final Four. Run, but we won't go into that. We won't rehash that. And I picked him for an upset today. We talked about that, but that's hard to do, as you know, in this business. That credit to him and those guys.
What's the record on the most number of times that one person can say I picked them as an upset?
I don't know.
Whatever.
I'm gonna. My bracket looked good prior to these afternoon games, so I can't say much about that because I also picked Indiana and that got smashed.
My bracket is dog shit.
That got smashed.
My bracket is dog shit. Go ahead.
Kentucky just screwed me. So
yeah, biggest winner for me is Matt McMahon at Murray State. I mean, you pull out a win today, and then instead of having to play a Kentucky team that you're severely outsized by, now you're playing against the St. Peter's team that you match up well with physically. And Trey Hannibal, who's a guy that he wasn't somebody that we talked about pretty much when we're talking about Murray State. It's other guys on that roster. But Trey Hannibal, South Carolina transfer, 6 foot, 220 pounds. He's built like a running back.
He's a running back.
Like, that Murray State team can give you some problems. And they have, I'm not going to say a clear path because as well as St. Peter's played today, that is not an easy game. But if I'm Murray State, I'd much rather play St. Peter's than Kentucky, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
My biggest winner, Penny Hardaway, the Memphis Tigers. There was heat on this guy. There were people that were saying, "Hey, he might need to get him up out of Memphis. We might need to get him up out of that coaching job." And this is not just tonight. Like this is just kind of a way to kind of put a cap on the season. But they were 12-8 at one point, right? Yeah. We didn't know if he was going to make it through the year. Like it looked like it was a mess. And
he was irritated.
He cussed people out in press conferences, and he turned the season around. He got them into the tournament for the first time in his career, and he won a game in the NCAA tournament. So this is his moment. Now's the time to prove it, right? Like I think he validated himself as a coach and a guy that can kind of get players better within a season and get a team better within a season. Mm-hmm. Now he's got to win, and now he's got a chance to make it into something memorable.
Yeah.
Go out and knock off Gonzaga. All right, biggest loser of the day, T.O. No, that was my pick, T.O.
I think we're going. Yeah. My bracket for one. That's a big thing because I had Kentucky not only making it to the Final Four but winning the entire thing. So obviously I'm going to fall off. But my bracket 1, but 2, I'm going to say, an Iowa team. This is 2 years in a row, guys. Like, is Fran McCaffrey ever going to get out of the first weekend? That's a big issue there in Iowa. And he's an excellent coach, and he's had great regular seasons. But when is he going to take that step, get to that Sweet 16 or that Elite 8? That's a big question mark. And one of the reasons why Iowa lost today, when they're not hitting shots, what are they? That's the big deal. Like, if they're not hitting shots, what are they? Well, we saw today they're not very good because, one, they don't have a ton of great athletes on that team. That's just point blank period, the bottom line. They're much more athletic than they were last year, but at the same time, they don't have anything that they can rely on if they're not making shots. That would have worried me moving forward for this Iowa team after watching them today. I thought that was a significant issue.
Yep.
I'm going to go Kentucky, Coach Kyle in Kentucky. And we talked about it earlier. Like, you got some idiots out here talking about fire Coach Kyle. But
You shut your mouth.
yeah, let's get over that. But it's Kentucky. There's a tremendous amount of pressure on those guys. And coming off of last year, even though it was we had COVID issues and everything else, they just didn't have the type of year that we're accustomed to Kentucky having. So then you come back this year and they have that type of season. But again, you're Kentucky. The standard is a national championship. Put yourself in that position, and instead end up now you're going to be in infamy with this upset that we're going to be talking about for the next 20 years
It's gonna be,
or longer.
It's gonna
be there forever,
yeah,
right? It's going to be over.
Certainly the next
This-
8 months.
Yes,
9
it's going to
months,
be
like-
over and over and over again. And then can Coach Cal do it? Will he get us over the hump? Questioning that. You're talking about they revamped their coaching staff, new assistants and everything, and there's nothing else you can change. There's been a philosophical change as far as the high school kids to getting the transfers. This is a transfer dominant led.
Bring in some shooters. Get me a Randolph Childress on that roster. Get me a Terrence Oglesby on that roster. Get me someone in Kellen Grady.
Kentucky had a
They
Terrence
had
Oglesby.
you
Maybe even a
had
Dagan
Kellen
Hughes.
Grady, right?
They'd had
Kellen,
that, but-
hey, he didn't make any shots tonight. All right, well, we got about a minute left here. I'm going to go with my biggest loser is Kentucky. And do you have that? Do you have that image? Do we have that, Dagan?
We do not, but you can go ahead and read it.
Okay, so what happened was John Morant tweeted out tonight, a team from Kentucky won today.
Ouch.
So when you are getting roasted by the best player to come out of a program in the state of Kentucky since Anthony Davis, like that on Twitter, that's something where I got to call you the biggest loser.
Ouch.
I think it's that simple. And UConn.
Yeah, UConn's pretty.
I'm still
down.
down bad. I'm still hurting, guys. I'm still hurting.
I knew
That
a
was
lot
rough
of people.
one.
I knew a lot of people picking UConn to make the Final Four. Boy, did
Well,
did that fall flat?
I'm gonna be nice. I'm not gonna let my emotions get the best of me.
All right.
We're gonna roll through this one. But listen, this has been fun. We're gonna be back here again tomorrow, guys.
We will.
11 a.m. bright and early. We're gonna have our pregame show. Coming in at about 5:45, about 6 o'clock. We're gonna kind of have a midday recap, late game preview session, and then once again at about midnight, 12:30. We're going to have the end our post-game show after dark. So for Randolph Childress, for Terrence Oglesby, for producer Greg Waddell, and for producer Dagan Hughes, my name is Rob Dauster. This was the After Dark. Thank you for being here.
We're clear.
Hey, can you open the door for Carter?
Are clear. Yeah,
Open.
Carter's locked out.
Yeah. Oh.
Carter's down bad out there.
Carter's
Carter is
locked
down bad. All right, listen. So
Carter's double-fisted.
we're here for the afters a little bit. We're gonna wrap this up. Answer some questions in the chat. See if we can get to 200 likes. Let me start with this. I got a text, RC, from a buddy of mine named Randy McClure, and he wanted me to tell you that you and him graduated the same year at Wake Forest, and that Big Country is still a punk ass fat fuck.
Jesus.
Tell him that's my new best friend. What's his name?
Randy McClure. That's my guy, Randy McClure.
All right, Randy.
He runs the site Rush the Court. He was one of the college basketball blogging OGs that has been doing this for a long time. So I had to give him a shout out on here. We got any other questions?
You didn't give Carter a shout out, producer Carter.
Oh, producer Carter showed up with beers. Hold on, can we get this graphic over here? Can we get this on? Joe, can we show this?
What do you mean? Yeah, you can show it.
We got Carter showing up with beers. All right.
Don't spill it all over the equipment.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I'm gonna do my best. Carter's showing up with beers. Oh,
Thanks,
hey, he just made this trip worthwhile for him to come. Shout out to Carter Elliott, showing up with beers. See if we can get to 200 likes in the chat. All right, we got any other questions coming in here, guys? Any other questions?
We got
Yeah,
questions,
there's some
Dagan?
questions. Yeah, there's some questions. What chance do you guys give Memphis on Saturday?
I would say they're probably going to be about an 8.5 point dog. I would guess 8.5, something like that. I would say that I like their side there. I think that it would be. We'll ask Greg as soon as he's done. Greg's showing up with the beers here too. Greg, jump on the mic real quick. We want to know your thoughts on Memphis against Gonzaga and what the line there could end up being.
Okay, off the top of my head, Gonzaga's got to open up close to double digits still, 8 or 9.
My guess was 8.5.
Yeah.
And at 8.5, I think I like Memphis. You know why? I think they're going to be able to kind of slow the game down.
I do.
And I think if you can muck it up and make it ugly, I think that's what you have to be able to do against.
I'm curious to find out what they're going to do with Chet Holmgren if he tries to grab and go rebound. And what I mean by that is him grabbing a rebound on the defensive end and initiating the break himself. Are they going to have guys stop him in transition and just go ahead and pick him up full? Because I think the best thing you can do against Gonzaga is stop the ball early in the possession and then make them play more so in the half court. I think that's a big part of that.
I think now my question will be the perimeter shooting of Memphis. At some point, they're going to have to make shots.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to just be able to ground and pound.
Especially because they got that eraser.
And I don't know if you're going to be able to turn them over. So if you're not turning them over, if you're not turning Gonzaga over, and you're going to have this controlled pace, you know, what are you going to do to score? Because we know Gonzaga is going to score, and I just wonder where Memphis is going to score, and considering they can't pressure them and turn them over. So,
all right, I got another question that was texted to me by the one and only Jeff Goodman, and he wants to know what our boldest predictions are for tomorrow. I got a bold one. You want me to go first while you guys kind of look at the schedule?
Go ahead.
I'll go first. Number 13 seed Chattanooga.
Oh, that's bull.
Take
That's
down
not
Illinois.
bold.
Wait.
That's not bold.
No, wait. Chattanooga takes down Illinois, and UAB knocks off Houston, and so we head into, I guess, Sunday with a game between a 12 seed and a 13 seed, guaranteeing that we are going to have at least one double-digit seed in the Sweet 16, and you always got to have at least one double-digit seed in the Sweet 16. All right.
All right, fair enough.
I think I just wrapped up all of the bold predictions there you could possibly have.
Yeah, I like Chattanooga to win, actually. I had that from the beginning of the day. Who knows what could happen? Obviously, Illinois can shoot the ball really well when they get hot. That could be an issue. But like we've said before, Chattanooga just throws waves of bigs at you. So they have 15 fouls to give against Kofi Coburn. That's a big part. I think it is bold. I'm not sure it's the boldest. Another bold prediction, Virginia Tech wins 2 games in a row this weekend. That could be a bold prediction. Coming off winning the ACC tournament, they're playing extremely well. Their Wofford guys have figured out how to play against high-level competition. Wofford wins 2. That could be a bold prediction.
Boys, can I call my shot with one?
Yeah.
Virginia Tech.
Here we go. Buckle up.
Listen, it's been a rough one. It's been a rough couple days for the Big Ten, my Big Ten, okay? The Iowa Hawkeyes, you heard this. Colgate's beating Wisconsin tomorrow. Second best three-point shooting team in the country. Wisconsin isn't great at guarding the three. They're just fine. Johnny Davis is banged up. I saw it with my own eyes. Colgate is going to shoot the lights out.
well, Big Ten's going to hate my next one then because I'm going with Davison.
I like Davison to win, too.
I got Davison getting Michigan State tomorrow.
And Foster Lawyer going for 30.
I wish you could get the death stare. I wish we could have the death stare.
Carter's giving you the stare.
Hey, you notice I didn't even look over there, right? I'm trying not to even look that way because I know he's coming. I think that's going to be a tough matchup. And is the Notre Dame Alabama game, is that considered? That's 11-6. Is that considered an upset? I think Notre Dame will get Alabama tomorrow.
I think we've officially stated that every lower seed is going to win.
Hey, Carter, go ahead and give us your
It's a
bold
matter of
prediction.
who's right.
We need one from you, too. Yeah, go ahead, give a bold prediction.
It's not going to be bold. It's going to be correcting everyone who just said it. Michigan State will win tomorrow.
Okay,
Let's not buy into the Davison hoopla.
No,
all right?
I'm sorry.
Do I get to give one, too, since we're here? Oh,
Tomorrow, I promise you that.
You're not on camera, just so you know when you do it.
sorry.
But you made a statement. You made a
did.
statement.
They heard
Lock
you.
it in.
They heard you.
Good enough.
Locked it in. All right, we got any other questions coming in, Deggy?
Hey, we're 2 likes away from a beer chug from Rob Dauster.
Yes. And hold on. Apparently, you took a couple sips.
Yeah, I have. I forgot that I had to
doesn't
chug
count.
I have
it. I forgot that I had to chug it.
I haven't.
I was saying,
even
I have
touched
a
this
I
mine
haven't
down
had a
here, too,
beer in
if
like
you
10
want.
years.
There you go.
Why are you?
Because I haven't taken a sip
Carter
out
just
of
bought
it.
them for everybody, and so we have
Yeah, take a sip.
we have plenty.
No, you got it.
There you
Oh
go.
no, much appreciated.
You're a beer drinker.
Drink a beer, man.
Yeah, man.
I'll drink a beer, but you're. Let's see.
We're at 200.
We're at 200.
Oh, yeah, it's time to go.
We're at
Chug a lug.
200.
All right,
Chug a
cheers.
lug.
200.
Well, I'll do it. I'll do it after 3 cheers to wrap up the night.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll do it. Do it 3
Do it at
cheers
the end,
to
do it
wrap
at
up
the
the
end,
night.
do it
To
at
wrap up the night.
Down like water down a mountain, Doug. Right?
Yeah, whatever that's saying.
Well done, sir.
Well done. All right, we got any other questions, Dagan?
Yeah, let me scroll through the
We got a
poll
lot.
predictions.
Yeah, we got a lot of people in there. So
Somebody asked Phil, wants to know, will you do a chug while doing a handstand? I don't know where that came from. but-
yes, absolutely, because I can 100% do a handstand.
I'll
Listen,
vouch
I don't
for
know.
Come
you
on.
know. Can St. Peter's beat Murray State?
Yeah.
Of course they can, yeah.
Yeah,
Tio,
I-
why you
Any
get
team
Tio?
that-
Why you
any-
give me that look?
No, I'm not. Any team that plays with that much swag, like
They got a shot.
they got a shot.
And I thought it was a really good game plan too. They did a terrific job of finding a way to like isolate Oscar Sheway on the perimeter, try to pull him away from the basket, create mismatches, and take advantage of those mismatches. And Kenny Smith. I don't love Kenny Smith doing the. But we were talking about
College
this out there.
stuff,
I don't
yeah.
love him doing the breakdowns, but he had a really good point about the way they kind of ran offense and created counters. They got those 2 wide open threes for Eddard, whatever.
He's
his
a
name
legend,
is.
whatever he is.
The legend that knocked down those 2 threes. So
The
I thought it was
moustache.
Yes.
I mean,
beautiful.
look, I can't say enough about the coaching job that Shaheen Holloway. The most important thing when it comes to coaching, and you guys can attest to this, it's putting your guys in a position to succeed.
Yep.
And I thought he did a terrific job of making sure that they had a chance to succeed tonight.
Here's a nice quote from the chat. Any team that lets the nuts hang has a chance.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
Yeah,
It's true.
It's a big point.
they let their nuts hang.
I'll give you one more, and then I don't know if you want to keep going or we can do 3 cheers, but I'll give you one at least. Which conference was the most disappointing today?
You know what? You can't say the SEC because I
No.
thought Tennessee showed well, Arkansas
the-
played
it's gotta
well.
be the-
Mountain
it's
West.
gotta be the Mountain West.
Mountain
Mountain
West,
West.
without
Gotta be Mountain
question.
Forbid Mountain West had everybody gone by 10 o'clock.
Enough slander, but the ACC, Mountain West better
Hey,
than the
and look,
ACC.
and
I don't
while
want to
we're-
hear
while
it
we're
anymore.
here-
Any longer. Enough is enough.
While we're here,
with you on that.
we haven't talked about it yet. Can we give a shout out to Creighton? They
Yeah,
came
big
back from
time win.
14 down. They didn't have their starting point guard against one of the best defensive teams in the country. Their starting center towards ACL. Oh, I don't want to.
we
I
don't
don't want
know
to.
that.
I don't
We
want to say
don't
that.
know
So
that.
it looked
looked bad. It
It
looked
looked
bad.
bad. Had a bad knee injury. He's had knee injuries before. But yeah,
Greg, go ahead.
Hey, yeah, just a quick second. If we're going to give shout-outs to teams that came back from down 14 without their starting point guard, there might be another one we're missing.
who?
Michigan
I was
Wolverines.
say, come on.
Who did?
The Wolverines.
I got a question.
Never heard of him.
What do we cash in when you get a winning ticket? Where you cashing in at? I just want to know. Some of us want to know where did you cash your winning ticket?
Hey, I'll hit you on the side, RC.
Hey, RC, I'll show you where to
I
go.
appreciate that, guys.
Some of us don't win. Some of us don't win. Some of us only have this left. The white ones aren't valuable, guys. Just so you know. What else we got, Dagan?
Let's see. Thoughts on a possible Duke-Texas Tech matchup? If you wanted to answer that one, that's one I just saw.
Texas Tech.
I would love Texas. I would love to see that, just to see Texas Tech defend that Duke team that just plays a bunch of one-on-one. And I think Texas Tech would get them.
Yeah.
I think I already know the answer to this one, but this is for you, Tio, specifically.
Nightmare Fuel?
How'd you know that? You in the
Yeah,
chat?
I saw it a
No.
second ago.
Well,
Now, I think he
well,
does
that's
have a
boring. You
little.
don't
I
need to
mean, he ran out of all the Sweet Dreams fuel whenever he let the other. He went 0 for 14 or whatever he did
Who's
the
that?
other day. Katie Johnson.
Oh.
He runs on Nightmare Fuel. I don't know if you know that or not.
Yeah.
But he runs on Nightmare Fuel. It's a real thing. And he is just an insane person. I think he still has enough for one game left, but I think Miami's going to get him. I think Miami's going to get him in the second round.
No.
No?
No.
I'm the only one?
You're only one.
I keep receipts.
Oh, here's a
enough.
question. Here's a question from David Narum. Will Amani Bates be the difference maker for Memphis?
No. He's not, guys. He's not. He's a good player. He's not ready. We've established as much. He's just not ready. He's a very good player. He's not ready. I think he went home to Michigan and grew 2 inches because he looked taller on television today.
He looked physically bigger today. I
Yeah,
thought
he
his
looked
body
much
changed.
bigger. Like I'm not sure what happened, but he looked taller on the floor today.
Also, looks like we have another Dagan in the chat. That's a bit.
Yeah.
Weird.
Think it's a real Dagan or a fake Dagan?
Well, I mean, I know another Dagan. That's a story for another time, though. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Actually,
you're not
he
even.
actually has
even,
the same name
You're
as
not
me,
even a Dagan
so.
anymore. You're Diesel these
apparently,
days.
yeah,
so.
I'm Diesel. That's my nickname.
Okay, Diesel.
So, I don't know.
He nicknamed himself that.
No, I did not. Listen, I told you guys that and now you can see me, right? They can see me on the camera. I am the furthest thing from a diesel.
He's doing push-ups before he put himself on camera.
That's
fans.
all I got to say.
He walked in here talking about how he was benching 325 yesterday.
Yeah, no, he was drinking a protein shake when he walked in this morning. All right, what else we got?
Let's see here. Odds Murray State can make a Final Four run.
You know what? If it shapes up right, it's possible.
No.
If it shapes up
No,
right.
I don't.
No.
I mean, here's the thing. We talk about how we think that Purdue could lose to Virginia Tech, right?
Yeah.
We talk about how we think that Baylor could lose to UNC. And if Purdue's out of that bracket and UNC's out of that bracket, who scares you if you're Murray State?
I think Murray State matches up pretty well with Virginia Tech.
Look, here, the way that I see this playing out, they're going to play a 10 seed, a 15 seed, and an 11 seed to get to the Elite Eight. And when they get to the Elite Eight, all they got to do is beat a UCLA or a UNC. Like, that's doable. St. Mary's, they could face – what if they face St. Mary's in the Elite Eight? That to me, that's all feasible. Now, that it's a long way to get there, and we're, like, kind of putting the cart in front of the horse. RC's looking at me like I'm crazy right now, just shaking his head.
He does that a lot.
It's a whole lot of
especially today. You should have during the UConn game.
Come on.
He's so disappointed in us.
I
when
am,
we come
man.
out
I'm
with
just
these
sitting
things.
here
Like,
like
what's
we're
wrong?
talking Final Four. They win a game today, and it's Final Four. Like, come on.
Well, I think the bracket does shift in their favor. I mean, you could at least
What happens
say
when
that,
Yale
like-
beats Purdue tomorrow?
What
When
happens when Yale beats Purdue tomorrow?
That's not happening tomorrow.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
yeah, you
tough.
never
How many
know.
times
Well, all
did
right.
you
What
say
happens when
that
Virginia
and then it
Tech
happened?
beats Purdue in the second round?
And that's who I have. And Murray State's not beating Virginia Tech.
See, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility.
All right, fair enough.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm just.
RC's
I do.
confident. All right, I have one more, and I think this is
He
probably
was so
this could be the
he was
best
so
question we've ever
confident.
had.
He was so confident in Indiana too. What did I get about 37 points?
Yeah, that's
was
true. That was
confident.
poor.
I was more confident in my teams that did better today
That's
than the
fair
ones that
enough.
lost.
Fair
I think
enough.
that's fair to say.
I think this could be.
I can
this is
take an L, but I've got a lot of W's today. That's all I'm going to say.
This next question is something that I'm sure myself, Greg, and Carter are very excited to hear your answers for.
Uh-oh.
You have to compare each producer, so the three of us, to a current college player. Go ahead and give some time to think.
Man, we might have to collaborate on this.
And obviously, I mean,
That's
you've
hard
never
to
seen
do.
me play basketball. I don't know if you've ever seen Greg play basketball.
I've never seen you guys play
I was
basketball.
gonna say, so you have no idea what.
Mine's pretty easy.
Obviously, Carter did play in college.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Mine's pretty easy if you really think about it.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a lot of
No, it
college
actually
players.
is. It actually
I mean,
is.
it's like it's blatantly obvious.
It actually is really easy. His name is Connor Williams. You guys know who Connor Williams is? He is the 7-foot, 360-pound player from St. John Fisher.
Did he sprain his ankle?
Yes,
that's not
sprained his
good. No
ankle,
look
went
pass.
viral for sprained his ankle, getting up and then throwing that backdoor pass.
You do look like David Roddy.
Yeah, I was
can
going to
see
say
that.
David Roddy, mate.
I can see,
No.
I can see David Roddy.
David Roddy's good, and he's bouncy as hell.
Jesus.
And he's bouncy as hell.
Jeez.
I don't think that you could hit the top of that door frame.
He can do it standing up.
No, David Roddy, come on, man. Don't compliment yourself like that.
I'm giving you men's. I'm giving you men's league, David Roddy. I'm giving you men's league. David.
Oh,
I'm
man.
Travion Williams, either one.
Dude, he has game film online of him playing in the men's league.
That is true. He does do game film.
I've seen it.
Jamison Trevion Williams. I like that one a little bit better.
Okay.
Jamison Trevion Williams.
Gave himself the name, so we're good.
Greg, I'm excited to hear what these are going to be.
For Dagan, who's the most jacked dude in college
God.
basketball this year?
What is going on?
Hey, this one came from John Fanta. For Dagan, Hall or TCU tomorrow?
Seton Hall, of course. I'm not going to pick TCU. Now, do I think it's going to be a tough matchup? Of course. But I'm not going to sit here and say TCU. Of course, I'm going to root for Seton Hall.
Mm.
And I got to back my guys over here. They both picked Seton Hall. Well, I think you picked them to the Elite Eight, Greg. Carter, the Final Four.
RC, we've talked a lot about betting tutorials today. That
did.
Seton Hall game tomorrow night is what we refer to in the business as a 5-unit play. We'll talk about that
I
tomorrow.
appreciate that. I got to talk to
Everybody's
you. Don't
saying
forget to talk to me about this ticket when you do it.
Hey, for everybody saying
so I'm
TCU
listening. I'm listening to you.
For everybody saying TCU in the chat, you're wrong. That's all I got to say. All right, continue. Back to our previous conversation.
I'm trying to think.
Fanta, you're welcome.
I think Greg would be like a Brad Davison type.
I can see that.
Yeah, definite Brad Davison
So I'm a
type.
giant prick. Is that what
Plays the game the right way, you know.
Those
Not
are a couple
afraid,
of
not
those.
afraid to elbow you in the nuts. Coach's son, scrappy, deceptively athletic, you know.
First one in, last one out.
Yeah, first
You
one.
got
I just got
Eat it?
I just got a text message from I just got a text message from Sean Paul. Greg looks identical to Michigan walk-on Jaron Folds.
I believe he's on scholarship now, by the way, Sean Paul. You should know that.
Sean, yeah, come on, get it together.
Yeah,
man.
Sean.
Sean,
You
gotta
got that
know
one
this.
wrong. That's the one you got wrong.
I think Dagan's a Foster lawyer.
I'll take that.
I give him. What's that? Eat it.
That Foster lawyer, you know.
The 3-point shooter tonight.
I will say
Eddard,
Eddard.
yeah.
Oh, I'll take him.
Eddard.
I need to
There you
get,
go.
I need to get
No,
a better
no,
mustache.
shooter, yeah,
I
you
need to get
better
a better
mustache.
mustache.
Yeah, you
I'll
gotta-
take that.
Let those nuts
this
hang,
off, man.
Dagan.
Let your
Let
nuts
those
hang,
nuts
man.
hang.
I'll take that.
Nuts
That
hanging.
guy's a
Dagan.
legend now. Come on.
Nuts hanging Dagan.
I like
Don't let that
actually.
stick. Please don't make that
Nuts
stick.
hanging Dagan. That's gonna
Don't
stick.
make that
Chad,
stick.
Chad, if we get to 300 likes, that sticks. Nuts hanging Dagan.
Oh, no. Oh, man. I'll take that, though. I need to get a better
That's
mustache.
funny.
Though, for sure. I'll work on that. I'll work on the mustache.
Yep.
All right, that's what we got here. Let's. If you want any more, you can just go to 3 cheers. I think that beer is waiting for you to.
Well, let's do the 3 cheers. Go ahead.
Okay.
Start it off, RC.
We got to go to Shaheen Holloway for one. I mean, top 5. So we said tonight, one of the top 4 all-time greatest upsets tonight. Just a tremendous win for him and his staff, his players, university. Like that's something those guys are going to be remembered for the rest of their lives. So I don't know if anything tops that and get any bigger than that. So salute to those guys.
Yeah, cheers to him. I'm gonna cheers to Jamari Bouye, because I know they lost. But
He's
he
so
did
fun.
so much stuff on the floor tonight that was
good.
so much fun to watch. His explosion off the bounce, his ability to knock down shots. He hits a bunch of step back threes that were huge. Like, what a season for the San Francisco Dons, 24-9. What a performance all around. He did a great job in the portal as well. Untalked about, something we didn't talk about all that much with Tepe coming, and he got a couple of Pac-12 transfers in there in the fold as well. But Jamari Bouye, cheers to you, sir. Like, a fantastic day, even in a loss. But man, it was fun to watch.
So I was going to go with San Francisco for my cheers. I don't think people realize just how hard it is to get an at-large bid at San Francisco in a conference that's dominated by Gonzaga, that's dominated by St. Mary's when it's not dominated by Gonzaga, that has BYU in it.
Jamari Bouye is the best player at San Francisco since Bill Russell.
Yeah.
A lot of Sean Kemp in that prediction right there.
Yeah.
A lot of Sean.
But they self-imposed a death penalty in 1982. They shut down the program.
I did not
in
know that.
1982. They came back in 1985. They've been to one NCAA tournament since they rebooted the program in 1998. That's it. One NCAA tournament. Todd Golden has them in as an at-large bid. I don't think that job should be overlooked just because they lost in the first round in a thriller in overtime. So cheers to them. Also, I'm going to cheers to Trey Alexander, who has got Creighton into the second round of the NCAA tournament, playing out of position. He had 18 points. I think it was 5 boards and 6 assists today. He's terrific. He's going to play in the NBA one day.
Absolutely.
He's a fantastic player. He's got to tighten up that handle a little bit. He's got to add a little bit more weight, but he's going to end up getting there. So, cheers to San Francisco. Cheers to Jamari Bouye. Cheers to Trey Alexander, and cheers, of course, to Shaheen Holloway.
Get it done.
Tell us up. Are you guys going to make me sit up here? and
Nah,
talk myself
I'm
a
not
little
going
bit?
to. No.
Just do it.
No, I'm not going to. Go ahead.
You don't have to chug.
No, not you two. You
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
Just get it over with. Yeah. Why are you delaying it?
I hate every single one. Why
Hey, don't forget. You hired every single one of us.
Why
too.
am I doing this by myself? Unbelievable. I just don't want to.
I'll do it with you. Here, I'll do a
You're the one
little.
who said you would do it.
I'll split between the two of you. That was quick. All right, back over here to Carter. Oh, look at this.
Oh, dang. Dauster.
Damn,
Well done, sir.
that's impressive.
Field of 68 after dark.
I thought you were going to burp right there.
I'm trying to hold it in.
See everybody.